Welcome to Thursday Sutta study class. Now we are going to start the Sutta studies today with the selected discourse. As you can see, the selected discourse for today is Hatthi gāmaka Ugga Sutta. It is the discourse to Ugga. This particular sutta is recorded in Anguttara Nikaya, the section 8, and the sutta number is 22. The main message of this sutta is the 8 wonderful qualities of Ugga. He was a lay person, but not just an ordinary lay person. He was a non-returner. He was an anagami. So we are going to discuss the 8 wonderful, marvelous qualities of Ugga as mentioned in the discourse named by his name, Ugga Sutta. Highlight of today's discussion are like as follows. The main idea of the discourse is the 8 wonderful and marvelous qualities of the discourse, and we are going to understand it. Overall meaning of the Dhamma in the discourse is surrounded by these 8 wonderful and marvelous qualities, and we are going to understand these 8 wonderful qualities and also try our best to own these qualities by practicing the Dhamma. Of course, we discussed the 8 wonderful and marvelous qualities of Ugga in the discourse because Ugga is a layperson. His character in the Buddha's dispensation could be matching for you. So you cannot match a monk or a bhikkhu for your life because we have a distinction between two lives. But Ugga, as a layperson, could be an example for you, and what he has been doing could be very relevant to you. So we are going to understand his life along with the 8 wonderful qualities. Then probability of enlightenment in this very life. It's very, it sounds like great, right? So if we are able to attain enlightenment in this life, we know that the whole cycle of suffering is gone and we are free from difficulties, problems and failures, and we are in a super state. I think no matter how many people know about the Nibbana, everybody wish to attain enlightenment. That's what everybody's wish for. So we are going to discuss the probability of enlightenment in this very life. When we read suttas like these, personal experiences of noble disciple at the time of the Buddha, we could somehow get the sense of enlightenment in this very life. So yeah, so we can discuss that. Then the importance of the confidence about the Buddha. It could be a very common topic that we discuss throughout our life. Therefore, it could be very common, normal, no any extraordinary thing discussing about Shraddha. But you know what? Shraddha is the foundation. If there is Shraddha established in us perfectly, we do not want to worry about anything unpleasant in right now, after this life, and so on. Because Buddha said Shraddha is taking people from unhappy rebirths and give them happy destination. If there is Shraddha on the Buddha, there would be the Shraddha or the confidence on the Dhamma and the Sangha as well. They are the people who know the karma and the reality of the life very well. So Shraddha is therefore not only a faith that we have for a have for the temple or the statue or the any sort of good deeds. It is a vast understanding of human beings about the Buddha and also their life and the rest of the world. So we should consider that Shraddha, having Shraddha, confidence on the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha is huge. It's very, very deep. So we are going to take that point from the discourse, from the of the life of Ugga, and analyze it in our in our practice. Next, two types of delivering methods. You have come across many discourses from the Tripitaka. Many of them were delivered by the Buddha. Some were delivered by disciples, and so on. Have you thought about the pattern of delivering or the method of delivering by the Buddha and the disciple? So there are many types of delivering methods, but we can include everything into two types. So we are going to discuss these two types of delivering methods. Different categories of people depending on what they achieve. So you know Sotapanna, extreme winners. You know about once returner, Sakudagami. You know about non-returner, Anagami, perhaps Arahant. We have this kind of categories among disciples. So there are many categories. These are the four fruition of attainment, but we have many depending on the nature of their attainment and achievement of enlightenment. So we are going to discuss them. The nature of non-returner, which is very relevant to the discourse because the layman Ugga was also a non-returner. Let's discuss the nature of a non-returner in general. So these are the highlights of today's discourse. Let's see how we could cover these important facts of the discourse. Before we go into the discourse, Ugga, we need to know who is this person, Ugga. He was a householder. The Pali word for householder is Gahapati, Gruhapati in Sinhala. So the one who belonged a house or the chief of the house, the main benefactor of a house is called Gahapati. In that case, in most of the cultures, Gahapati is the father or the husband is the Gahapati in today's understanding. So Ugga, householder of Hatthi gāmaka. He was living in Hatthi gāma. Hatthi is the Pali word for elephant. So in that village, he was the leader of the elephant controller. So the people in Hatthi gāma did catching elephants from the forest and taking them to the village and train them for the kings and ministers, millionaires and setti we call, and whoever could get elephants from this village, because they catch elephant and train them to be used in daily purposes. So Hattigama was in Vajji country. It's in somewhere in Patna in today's India. Among householders, he was declared by the Buddha to be the best of those who waited on the order. Buddha gave title to different bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, male and female lay followers, because of their extraordinary skills. Venerable Sariputta, for example, was the highest or foremost of wisdom, and Venerable Moggallana was the foremost disciple of the Buddha for psychic powers. It means that they have the most skill skills on that category. Likewise, Ugga, being a lay follower of the Buddha, was foremost disciple of the Buddha for those who waited for the order. He liked monks to come uh, into his village, and he treated the monks in an extraordinary way. He always liked to go to the monastery and see the monks and start with a discussion on Dhamma. One of the interesting thing he did was going to the monastery and engage with different discussion on Dhamma. So therefore, he liked treating monks. He liked taking care of monks. Therefore, Buddha appointed him as the foremost lay disciple who waited for the Sangha. Right. So his father, after his father's death, he was appointed the main person of that village. Then Buddha visited somewhere near that village, and Buddha visited on the way to that village and met Ugga for the first time. So you can see the nature of Ugga before he met the Buddha. He was doing dancing, singing, and he was drunk. He drank a lot of alcohol. You can see the story that one day Ugga was having so much fun in the park with friends. He was dancing, singing while drinking alcohol, and the Buddha was passing by. What happened was extraordinary there, and we are going to tell it in the discourse, because that was one of the marvelous qualities of Ugga. But I would tell you initially that his drunkenness was gone at the first time he saw the Buddha, because of the Buddha's extraordinary physical personality. Buddha did not tell a word, but he was able to come back to normal life and get out of that sensual pleasure, drinking alcohol, and he developed an enormous confidence, Shraddha on the Buddha. How about if a person today is so much with alcohol and see a Buddha statue? It could not happen. It could happen only to people who have some luck, some fortune, some good qualities behind their karma. So Ugga was such a person that he could develop Shraddha towards the Buddha as soon as he saw the Buddha. So right after that, he completely went out of the normal life, but spent a very meaningful life helping monks and the monastery, and he was the main disciple in that village and in many areas close to his village who helped the Buddha and treated the Sangha and so forth, because we know that he is a enlightened person. In Samyutta Nikaya, we can see some records that Buddha visited Ugga couple of times, and also Ugga visited the Buddha whenever Buddha went through that village. That's how the relationship between the Buddha and Ugga is maintained. So there is a previous story of Ugga. Ugga had been a householder in the time of Padumuttara Buddha. this Buddha was a couple of Buddhas prior to our Buddha. He once heard the Buddha preach and declare at the end of his sermon one of his lay disciples to be the best of those who waited on the order. He wished for himself a similar attainment and did many good deeds towards the end. You can see the relationship of his determinations and also the with the present results. At the time, Padumuttara Buddha, he saw a lay disciple of Padumuttara Buddha was appointed as the foremost lay disciple who could wait for Sangha. And he thought that by seeing this appointment, I also wanted to be such a person in a future Buddha's dispensation, right? As a result of that determination and wish, he could achieve that goal in this time where the Gautama Buddha appeared in this world. If I remember you how Venerable Sariputta and all these great disciples came into this position, it is the same way. Venerable Sariputta, Moggallana, Ananda, they were entitled into this position because of their great wish in previous Buddha's time. So, a lot of people, when they hear about these previous stories, they questions, didn't we live at that time and didn't we wish to be like that? We don't know. Could be you wish something else, right? Who knows, so you end up your cycle of samsara in a future Buddha's time being a very skillful, very talented disciples like Sariputta, Moggallana and so forth. We do not know. Nobody is able to read what we did in previous lives and what we are going to happen to us in the future. But the Buddha's main message is to try our best to understand the Dhamma. Having determined to be such a person, even Ugga or Venerable Sariputta, they never postponed their practice. Suppose Ugga promised to be the foremost disciple who waited for Sangha at the Padumuttara Buddha. After that, he worked so hard for his achievement. No matter he knew or not about his wish in life after that, he was in that line, practicing necessary qualities. Who knows that we have been doing the same thing, because we people do not intentionally violate five precepts, other precepts. We always try our best to meditate, listen to Dhamma, treat our children very well. We know the social norms and practices. We do not want to violate them. We try our best to be with the civilized society with wholesome qualities. It could be because of our previous determination to be enlightened. Okay, so let's see how things happen to us with our practice. Summary of the sutta should be known, because at the end you would be able to remember some information of a discourse. So in Ugga Sutta, we can see that Buddha was staying in Hatthi in Vajji country. Then there was no Ugga there when the Buddha started speaking about Ugga. Of course, Buddha knew about Ugga because of previous relationship. He came to the Hatthi a couple of times there, and Ugga treated the Buddha, accommodated, gave accommodations for the Buddha and Sangha, and Buddha knew about Ugga, and Ugga also has been in good relationship with the Buddha. But in this occasion, there were only Buddha and the bhikkhus. And Buddha said to the monks that Ugga, the main person in this village, has 8 wonderful qualities. That's only Buddha said. Then a monk who doesn't have a name given in the discourse thought that I should go and talk to Ugga about this statement of the Buddha. So he was in his arms round and finished it and went to uh, Ugga's house and said that Buddha made such a statement about you. I came to know whether you know about what the Buddha said. So Ugga said that he is unaware of the Buddha's remarks, but he said that there are 8 qualities, wonderful qualities he feels about himself. So Ugga said that I do not know what the Buddha said about me, but I personally feel that I have some extraordinary qualities. I feel that I have some strange behaviors, a strange way of thinking than other people. How many of us know that we have some strange qualities? We don't have that kind of thing. Sometimes, if you are very good in meditation, sometimes if you are good in understanding things, you feel that you are different from others. It could happen to you as well. So here we see Ugga said that I do not know what the Buddha said because I was not there, but I feel myself that there are 8 wonderful, extraordinary things about my life. Then this Ugga explained all these 8 wonderful things about his life, and monk kept them in mind and came to the Buddha and reported that I went to Ugga's house after the Pindapata and I had a conversation with him, and during the conversation he explained these 8 marvelous and wonderful qualities as he thinks. This monk asked, Bhante, are they true? Do these 8 wonderful qualities exactly exist in Ugga's life? Buddha confirmed that. I was thinking of these 8 wonderful qualities of Ugga's life, and he said the same thing. So this is the summary of the discourse. This is how when that monk meet Ugga and at his residence. So now we are going to understand these 8 wonderful qualities. I know that it's difficult to remember the whole 8, but at least you can keep a glimpse of those 8 wonderful qualities of Ugga's life that encourage you to be like that. So the first one, as soon as he sees the Buddha, his drunkenness vanishes and venerate the Buddha, who then instruct him on the gradual teaching. Let me read the specific part of the discourse related to the first one. Bhante, this is Ugga addressing that monk. Bhante, I was carousing in the Naga Grove when I first saw the blessed Buddha in the distance. As soon as I saw him, my mind acquired confidence, Shraddha, in him, and my drunkenness vanished. This is the first outstanding and amazing quality found in me. We do not know how many bottles of liquor he had, how many alcohol he had in body, but the sight of the Buddha, appearance of the Buddha made him to turn 90 degree. I perhaps you have, of course, we have seen people who drink alcohol way over limit, right? They cannot stand still, they cannot see clearly, they cannot talk, they are not as they are. Suppose Ugga was in that situation. As soon as Buddha appeared in front of him, his drunkenness vanishes completely, and he acquired confidence, Shraddha. Wonderful. Oh, what a wonderful person. You know what? A lot of divine beings, Brahmins, uh, you know, kings, ministers, even beautiful princess ladies attracted to the Buddha's physical body. Have you heard about Ma Gandhi? She was one of the beautiful, beautiful ladies at the time of the Buddha. She was a Brahmin, only child in the family. Father and mother was looking for a better partner for this beautiful girl throughout the whole continents. Kings, ministers, millionaires uh, came and asked this daughter, but they did not like giving their daughter to any of these people despite their power, popularity and so forth, because daughter is so beautiful, and all these people who came were not like that. Then this father was a scholar on marks on feet and body. He was able to read physical characteristic of people and say something about their future, about their nature according to the Veda. So one day he was walking towards his house from somewhere, and he saw some extraordinary, different, distinct footprint on the road. He saw that some cycle-like marks on the feet, different signs, and so forth. He knows about the text, that there are certain things like that. If a person on this foot, these feet, he would be a very remarkable person. He would be a very wise person. So he thought that if this is from a person, he would be a very, very intelligent person. He walked forward, uh, you know, based on these footprint, and he saw the Buddha sitting under a tree. And he went to the Buddha and said that, "Don't go away. I will come with my family. It doesn't take that long because my house is situated close by." He ran away from the Buddha and took his wife and the beautiful Ma Gandhi with them, and said to the Buddha that this is my daughter. And she was looking for a better, suitable, handsome person. We did not find, and he related all the stories about king and ministers and millionaires, and requested the Buddha to get married to their daughter. Then Buddha said that, "I do not touch this what you call urine body, and the body with so many ugly things, even by my toes." Then Ma Gandhi got angry, and that anger existed in her life until her last moment, and he died with so much anger. But the father and the mother was able to understand what the Buddha mean, and the discourse delivered at that place made them to be non-returners. Mother and father got into enlightened state called Anagami. So what I'm saying is that Buddha was so beautiful. Some people were looking at him uh, during sermon, not paying attention to what he said, because he was so beautiful. People are like that, right? Even if we go to a musical uh, show, we could attract to people who sing rather than enjoying the song. And there are beautiful people like that. So it could happen to people. Buddha was in top of that. His skin color was golden, and he was 6 feet, uh, you know, high height, and and then his body was so marvelous. It is said in one discourse in Digha Nikaya that he has all these 32 physical characteristics. He could touch his knees without bending by two hands, and his tongue is too wide and could wash his face by his tongue. His ears are too long to the shoulder, and nose is, so many beautiful characters are there. So could be the same thing happen, same physical nature made Ugga to attract to the Buddha, plus his previous karma made him to vanish his drunkenness and acquire confidence on the Buddha. So when the Ugga said it to this monk that this is the marvelous and amazing quality in me that I saw the Buddha and vanishes my drunkenness and venerate the Buddha, and that was the moment that I fully gained the unwavering confidence of the Buddha. It's so much. This teaches us that we need to have that type of confidence on the Buddha in order to go forward. Unfortunately, we do not have the Buddha himself today for us to get encouraged. We have the teaching, and through the teaching we could be encouraged, and we should develop Shraddha based on the teaching. So this is the first marvelous quality. Now we go to the second one. Actually, we have them. They are listed here. I initially go on each point, each marvelous qualities. Then we can discuss them later on with details. The second one, when the Buddha sees that Ugga's mind is ready, he teaches him the Four Noble Truths which he penetrates. So Buddha knew that the Ugga's mind is ready to absorb the deep teaching. Then Buddha delivered the Four Noble Truths. The very fundamental, deep and profound teaching of the Buddha is the Four Noble Truths. It is the central teaching of the Buddha. So Buddha delivered any sermon based on Four Noble Truths for people who could understand it, who could absorb the meaning of it. By saying that, I don't say that every Dhamma listeners could get it. We have a knowledge about it, but we may not be able to understand and apply it to our life and get into enlightenment by listening. So Buddha knew from Ugga's mind that he is ready to take it fully. Then he delivered it, and this is the second quality of Ugga's life, as he sees that this is a marvelous quality. Third one, he undertakes the 5 precepts with the celibacy rule. So he gives up his 4 young wives, giving them ample support. The eldest of them remarries, and he himself gives her away without any animosity. So it's a very strange quality in my view, because as soon as he came from the Buddha, he talked to his 4 wives. Actually, he had 4 wives, and talked to them that I do not want to maintain a relationship as husband anymore. I'm not interested in that. So you 4 good ladies could either remarry or stay rest of the life with anything I give for you. So I have so much wealth and money, property. I'm going to divide them into 4. Take your part and either marry, either remarry, or go to your parents or relatives. That's what he said. It's an extraordinary quality, right? We cannot see this today. He freely shares his wealth with those who are good and wholesome. Now, after giving his property to his former wives, rest of the property were divided uh, with neighbors, friends, and people um, whom he knew about without any problem. If we are going to divide our properties, of course we have so many things to think about, but he did not have any worries in dividing his property, in donating his property for people. He waits on the monks diligently. He is attentive when they teach him the Dharma. Otherwise, he instructs them the Dharma. It's another marvelous quality. He always expects monks to come to his house or to go to monastery to meet monks. When they meet monks, he is so attentive, focused about what the monks says. If monks are not telling anything about the Dhamma, he start speaking about the Dhamma. That's another marvelous quality, which is the fifth one. Seventh, although Devas advise him of the different attainments of various monks, he gives to all alike. What does that mean? Devas would like to come and see Ugga, and they always tell about different monks and their attainment to Ugga. For example, Ugga, there is a monk meditating in the neighboring village, and that monk attained to Sotapanna. That monk attained to Anagami. That monk complete his training with full enlightenment. So Devas came to Ugga and reported all these monks and bhikkhus and bhikkhunis attainment. When somebody like that come to you and said that Bhante J attained to full enlightenment, Bhante Vijita attained to full enlightenment also, and Bhante Vijita, and some monks also came to that level, what could happen to you? What you are trying to do after that? You may go to the kitchen and cook some food, right? Delicious. Oh, I should give some dana and get some merits. That's how, not you, but basically average Buddhist Jew would like to do, because giving dana to enlightened people gives so much merits, powerful merits. But when Devas came to Ugga and told about the personal attainments of bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, he did not divide monks as enlightened monks and unenlightened monks, ordinary monks. In giving, he always gave equally, and he did not have any distinction, especially in giving. That's another extraordinary quality I have. Now we go to the 7. Even when the Devas visit him, he feels no pride about this, which is very interesting. If Devas come to us, how great we are, right? You can say that I am the greatest in the society because you guys don't have that kind of relationship. I have connection with the main God in the divine world, and you could ask lift, right? Rides to divine world, and you can bet people that I can do this, and so you could get help from all these divine beings. Ugga had that kind of life because of his mental development, but he says that I do not feel any pride out of this. That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary quality in me. The last one, he is not worried about death because he is a non-returner. When you feel that you are certain about a happy, permanent state of life after death, You are not afraid of dying. Why we afraid of dying? Death? In my view, there may be a couple of reasons. But if we summarize them into two, one, you cannot leave people that you attach to, and you cannot go from this beautiful life to next life, so on. And the fear of losing this life. The other point would be that you do not know where you go. So the uncertainty of next life causes us to be unhappy and fearful. At the same time, the level of attachment we have to this life, the children, property, and so on, all these came to our mind at the time of death. But the one who has done a great job in the practice does not want to be worried about death, because death is only a transition for that person. So these are the 8 marvelous and wonderful qualities of Ugga. So the monk was explained all these qualities by the Ugga, and Ugga went to the Buddha and said that I went to the Ugga's house during or after the Pindapath, and he told all these 8 wonderful qualities. Bhante, are they true? Buddha said, yes. Now we are going to take one by one and discuss more about the qualities. You know the first one. As soon as he sees the Buddha, his drunkenness vanishes and venerate the Buddha, who then instruct him on the gradual teaching. I would like to test this because I'm not the Buddha, and I should find a party where people take alcohol and go without any notice. I don't think they got such a devotion, and I cannot do whatever the Buddha did there. But I have some ideas which way I could behave and what I should tell these people. I have a couple of incidents. When I was at the university in Colombo, boy hostel always celebrate the parties, and when they got scholarship, monthly, bursaries, they used to spend some part of their bursaries for drinking. I have been there, but I am a friend of them then. I was a friend of them, and they don't feel any difference. And I always thought that, what is this? What they, what kind of happiness they look for by drinking, because they cannot see us well, they cannot, even singing is not done well with, it's hard for me to understand what kind of enjoyment they take by drinking alcohol. I do not know, because people, in my view, people could enjoy their life in sensual pleasure when they are physically okay, right? In my view, but it's up to so before the Buddha went there and meet Ugga, he was a very average person with all kinds of luxurious sensual pleasures and activities. This teaches us again that Shraddha is very important. If you have unwavering confidence about the Buddha that he is truly enlightened, he came to that level of enlightenment not because by wishing, but practicing the good qualities. Like us, he practiced giving, he practiced sila, he practiced panya, he practiced all kind of necessary qualities throughout many lifetimes. It says uncountable number of lives he lived to practice all the necessary qualities to become a Buddha. In giving a simile, Buddha said that I had been practicing Dhamma for asanka kappa. It means the iron or kappa is long time that we could not count, and he has been practicing that type of iron for many times. So he said he gave the simile that suppose there is a mountain, huge mountain, and a person take a silk cloth and go to the mountain, and by the silk cloth you touch the mountain rock once, and after 100 years another person came and take a silk cloth, let's say the same silk cloth, and touch the rock once, and by doing this, one day the rock will be vanished, but the copper, the iron, is not ended. Now you can see how many years could be counted for one iron. So Buddha had practiced his necessary qualities for uncountable lifetime and so forth. So we should think about the Buddha in such a way that how great he is. He was not a person who got into enlightenment just by wishing, but by practicing all these qualities. Friends, I think we should think about the Buddha's attainment, his effort to enlightenment, and what he achieved, and also what he did after. These are the information that we have to develop our Shraddha perfectly. So Ugga said that my drunkenness vanishes immediately after I saw the Buddha, even without talking a word, which is marvelous. Few disciples who attracted to the Buddha at the first meeting. One is Anathapindika. Anathapindika was Sudatta. His real name was Sudatta. Anathapindika, that name came to him because of his behavior. So Sudatta went on a business tour into Rajagaha and stayed at one of his relatives' house. When he went there, his friend was busy with preparing his house for a ceremony. Then he asked, "What are you doing? You didn't tell me about what is going on before." Then his relative said that the Buddha with monks come to our house tomorrow. We are preparing dana, food for the Buddha. When Sudatta heard the word Buddha, it was like a electric connection to his body. It was like an enlightening moment for him. He got a very powerful internal pleasant feeling in his body and mind immediately after he heard the word Buddha. Then he questioned, "Can I go now? And I cannot wait to see the Buddha." In the story of Anathapindika, it is said that Anathapindika woke up in the middle of the night for a couple of times, assuming that the dawn had taken place. But because of his Shraddha, because of his powerful confidence on the Buddha, even before he saw the Buddha. So in the picture you can see Anathapindika early in the morning went to the monastery nearby his relative's place and met the Buddha. One of the interesting things happened there, that Buddha and Anathapindika never met before, but Buddha called upon Anathapindika by his name. Suppose Anathapindika is maybe 30-40 meters away from the Buddha, and Buddha called by Siddhartha, please come here, I am here. Then Anathapindika got really interested that Buddha called me by my name. How wonderful it is. So that happened there, and it made Anathapindika to reconfirm his faith for the Buddha. And we have uncountable number of feelings and evidences and examples in the Tripitaka that many people got into Buddha's attraction immediately after they saw, because of the physical appearance and also the power and the leadership of the Buddha. He was so strong as the Buddha, physically and mentally and by every means. So why the reflection of the Buddha quality is important? We all know that we recite Itipiso and we always tell people to think about the Buddha for peace and happiness. At the time you got upset, think about the Buddha, we say, then you would have kind of solace, happiness, joy out of that. Why? What exactly happened to us when we think about the Buddha qualities? It is a question to think. I have given here some sutta evidences, not in Ugga Sutta, from a different discourse in Anguttara Nikaya. At any time when a disciple of the Buddha, at any time when a disciple of the noble ones is recollecting the Tathagata is another word for the Buddha, his mind is not overcome with passion, not overcome with aversion, not overcome with delusion. The Pali term is there for you if you are interested. Yasmin Mahanama Same Arya Savako Tathagatanang Anussarate Nevassa Tasmin Same Raga Pariyuttitan Chittang Hoti Na Dosa Pariyuttitan Chittang Hoti Na Moha Pariyuttitan Chittang Hoti. It means that whenever you recollect the qualities of the Buddha exactly as they are, your mind becomes free from passion, raga, hatred, dosa, and ignorance, delusion or moha. So that's what we want, right? We do not want lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred, ignorance in our heart, in our mind. We want them to go away from us. Whenever you think about all these Supatipanno, Itipiso, Bhagava and so forth, your mind slowly establish on generosity, the opposite of raga, generosity, and then dosa is the unwholesome quality and kindness is the wholesome quality, and your mind established on knowledge, wisdom. So by meditating on Buddha qualities exactly as it should be, we can have that perfect samadhi mind. That's what it says. Let's go to the second sutta quote. His mind heads straight based on the Tathagata. Ujjugata mevassa tasmin same chittang hoti Tathagatanang arabba. So in the first one we said that whenever you think of the Buddha qualities, your mind is getting away from lobha, dosa, moha, and at that time his mind or her mind becomes straight, ujjugata mevassa, and based on the Tathagata. Now your mind inclined to the Buddha nature. It's unwavering. It's attached to the Buddha qualities like glue. And when the mind is headed straight, the disciples of the Noble Ones gain a sense of the goal, gain a sense of the Dhamma, gains joy connected with the Dhamma. So, when your mind is straight and attached to the Buddha, Tathagata, you feel the sense of goal. What is the goal we have? Enlightenment, right? Releasing ourselves from suffering is the goal. We could sense it now because we have joy, we have pleasure, we have uh, all kind of beautiful thoughts in our mind because of this practice, and gains a sense of Dhamma, gains joy connected with the Dhamma. So by meditating, we expect this kind of mind. By doing other practices, we expect this kind of mind, and we can gain it the same thing by reflecting the great qualities. So I was telling you that the importance of confidence or shraddha about the Buddha. Now you can see in one who is joyful. Now you are in joy, you are in happiness, you are in rapture, you are in piti, sukha, and so forth. Rapture arises. If you have joy, you'll have rapture. In one who is rapturous, the body grows calm. One whose body is calm experience ease. In one at ease, the mind becomes concentrated. Concentrated means samadhi. So if you are happy with the Buddha qualities, you feel your settled mind. When you have settled mind, you elevates your mind into samadhi. So samadhi or the jhana could be gained by cultivating the Buddha qualities in us or reflection on the Buddha qualities. So that is from Mahanama Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya. I gave you just to understand how important the mindfulness on Buddha qualities. It is not only reciting the Itipiso and so forth. Just think about the Buddha through these 9 qualities. Just only the perfect trust on reaching to divine state. It means that if you have the perfect trust or confidence of the Buddha, that take you to the divine world. I don't think that real Buddhists should not wish to be a divine being after this life or to a human being, because we have a supreme goal. It doesn't matter enlightenment happened to us in a future life, but we should not wish to be a divine being or a human being, because there would be happening otherwise. We do not know what would happen to us when we become divine being. We could be very jealous depending on circumstances, incident happen to us. So we do not wish any type of existence hereafter, but our wish is to attain enlightenment. However, if you have confidence on the Buddha exactly as it is, you would be in divine state, because the Dhamma well proclaimed by me thus is clear, open, evident, and free of patchwork. In the Dhamma well proclaimed by me thus, which is clear, open, evident, and free of patchwork, those who have sufficient faith in me, sufficient love for me, are all headed for heaven. Let me say it from another word, that if you have the confidence on the Buddha or the shraddha on the Buddha, you will reborn in divine world without any problem. But it's not mere shraddha that I have a statue, I light up a candle and put a glass of water every day, and wherever I go, I go to the statue and say sadhu, and my children, my family members all do that. So I am. That's not what we say here. That's not what the Buddha said in the discourse. Shraddha on the Buddha should be perfectly constructed, developed in us. It means that you obey the regulation and rules of the Buddha. Okay. Um, Now we go to the second quality. We have only 20 minutes and we try our best to finish everything. The second extraordinary and outstanding quality of Ugga is when the Buddha sees that Ugga's mind is ready, he teaches him the Four Noble Truths which he penetrates. I told you that there are two methods of Buddha's preaching. So Buddha always follow this uh, teaching method. Sometimes he taught the Dhamma based on one method, depending on people's wisdom, understanding. Sometimes he used both, some depending on people's understanding. Let me tell you these two method. Progressive talk. It's called Anupubbi Kata. It means progressive talk. Uh, it means that Buddha start talking about giving dana first. Then he talks about moral virtues. After that, he talks about heavenly pleasures. Then he talks about the rest of the thing as mentioned here. Do you understand this progressive talk? It means that if Buddha met people who have ordinary understanding, he encouraged people about giving. Oh, giving is good, giving gives you happiness, givings make you good relationship, and then while giving you practice principles, precepts, it encourage you to be better, and you may achieve so many good things in life. So as a result of giving and moral virtues, don't worry about reborning in unhappy places. You will definitely become happy right now and as well as after this. And he talks about the divine pleasures. Those who did good things reborn in divine world, and the lifespan in divine world is maybe 100,000 years and 200,000 years, and no worries at all there. So after talking now people's mind are very happy that the Buddha appreciate our giving, our virtues, and now they see a path to divine world, and it's of course really good. So people are so happy. At that moment, Buddha talk about the danger and disadvantage of sensual pleasure in divine state. Okay, I know that you like to be divine beings, stay in divine world for a long time, but you know what? The sensual pleasure in divine existence is also impermanent. After that, you could reborn in unhappy human world, or either hell, or either animal kingdom. So he talk about the danger of sensual pleasure in divine state. Then people's mind slowly incline into accept the theory of impermanence. So he talks about disadvantages of sensual pleasure and advantage of renouncing all these sensual pleasures. That's called progressive talk. What does this word say? Progressive. Buddha take people uh, mind into him and turn people's ordinary state of mind so slowly from that level to very clear state of mind. That's called progressive talk. Talk on dana, talk on sila, talk on divine world, talk on danger and disadvantage of sensual pleasures. Slowly Buddha turns their mind from normal level to very super high level. At that moment, he started talking of the second uh, level, which means he talked about the Four Noble Truths. That desana or the sermon method is called Samukhansika Desana, the talk about the Four Noble Truths. Talk about the Four Noble Truths. It is the teaching peculiar to the Buddha, the Four Noble Truths. So Buddhas appear in the human world, in this world system, just to reveal the Four Noble Truths. That's the main duty of the Buddhas. The noble truth of suffering, the noble truth of arising of suffering, the noble truth of ending of suffering, and the noble truth of the path which end the suffering. These are the Four Noble Truths. Whenever Buddha knew that this person or these people's mind has been going through all these stages and ready to accept the deep teaching called Noble Truth, he delivered it. So these are the two methods of the Buddha in his teaching. Sometimes he talks about progressive talks, only progressive talk, because people are not ready. They were not keen enough to go further. So Buddha encouraged them to do more good, thinking that these people will attain to full enlightenment somehow in the samsara. Sometimes Buddha talk about the Four Noble Truths directly to some people, because Buddha knew that they were ready to accept it. They were able to realize the Four Noble Truths, combining the Four Noble Truths with their experience. So now we see how Ugga's mental transformation, while listening to the sermon on his seat, there arose in him the dust-free, stainless Dhamma eye. So it is how the Sutta said, when he was listening to Dhamma, being on the same seat, he was able to achieve Dhamma eye, vision of truth. What is of the nature of arising, all that is of the nature of ending. Yankinchi samudaya dhammang, sabbang tang nirodhammang. So, when he achieved that clarity, he realized that everything that has the nature of arising has the nature of ceasing as well. So, there is a simile given here. Just as a clean cloth, free from stain, would take dye well. You can see the picture, that dirty one, and when you wash it, it's clean. The clean cloth can take the dye well. If you dye unclean cloth, you can see these dots, these patches very clearly. So Ugga's mind was clean and clear by listening to the Dhamma, and also because of the confidence of the Buddha. And Buddha delivered after that the Four Noble Truths, and he got the Dhamma, which means he attained to Sotapanna. Ugga, that type of level. Ugga went to the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha for refuge. Now, if one attained to the Shraddha very well, it happens to someone with the attainment to Sotapanna. Before that, their confidence is wavering, not stable. If you are not a Sotapanna, your Shraddha is there, but it's not stable. It could change due to strong consequences. Suppose somebody come and kidnap you, and you are taken to a huge mountain where there is no one, and he put a gun to our neck and said that you would be you should live from Buddhist faith. Don't follow the Buddha. If you want to live more and go to your house, you should claim that you are not a Buddhist. If you are not a strong practitioner on the teachings of the Buddha, you would think that I should save my life and say that I'm not a Buddhist anymore. I don't would. But those who attain to Sotapanna never said that. Their life is secondary. Even to save their life, they never say that I am not a Buddhist, I am not a follower of the Buddha. That's the difference. So that type of Shraddha on the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha arose in his mind. Now we go to see becoming a Sotapanna. You know this, that becoming a Sotapanna becomes a reality when you destroy self-view, Sakkaya Ditti, doubts, Vichikicha, and attachment to rites and ritual. When you destroy these three fetters completely, you are a Sotapanna. So Ugga became an Anagami. It is said in Discourse. Becoming Anagami is taking place in such a way that you destroy the three fetters, and the fourth and fifth should be addressed and destroy the gravity of it. The one who attained to Anagami does not destroy the fourth and fifth fetters completely, but they cut the gravity of it. It means to me that they have done with the 70 or 80% of the fourth and fifth one. So that's called Anagami. Now we go to the third one. He undertakes the 5 precepts with the celibacy rule. So he gives up his 4 young wives, giving them ample support. The eldest of them remarries, and he himself gives her away without any animosity. It's just like you gave your husband or wife to somebody else willingly, while you love him or her very well. It's so hard, right? It's not possible. But Ugga did not find any difficulty in giving his 4 wives to somebody. Actually, the eldest of the 4 wives wanted to marry to somebody. We don't have any report about the other 3 about remarrying. So that's the third wonderful quality. So there was no problem with Ugga. There was no problem between Ugga and his 4 wives. What happened there was, when you attain to Anagami, you don't feel to engage anymore as a husband or wife. You cannot have that kind of relationship anymore, because you destroy kama, raga and patika, desire for sensual relationship, and you destroy that, and you destroy the other one, patika. You don't want to have any anger, ill will, that sort of thing. Without these 2 things, you cannot have a husband and wife relationship. The fourth one, he freely shares his wealth with those who are good and wholesome. Of course, he spent all of his money and property into a greater extent to support people who are worthy, especially monks and nuns and people who practice Dhamma. He distributes them to those people. He waits on the monks diligently. He is attentive when they teach him the Dhamma. Otherwise, he instructs them the Dhamma. So, this is a wonderful quality of Ugga, that he always liked to discuss the Dhamma. If monks, when he reached, did not discuss the Dhamma, he started talking about the Dhamma. Exactly happened there that he explained the Dhamma to monks. We could see the other way around, that monks always take the lead of preaching Dhamma. But in this case, Ugga takes the lead in preaching Dhamma. So we have here the 5 benefits of Dhammasavana. So, listen to Dhamma brings us 5 good results: getting fresh knowledge, understanding known facts more clearly, resolving of skepticism and doubts, acquiring right belief, and finally, clarity of mind through development of confidence and wisdom. So, we have these 5 results of listening to the Dhamma. Although Devas advise him of the different attainment of various monks, he gives to all alike. Right? So, despite your understanding about different monks and their attainments, you maintain your mind to give equally. Suppose sometimes people consider the head priest because he knows, you knows him better, and your relationship with him has been coming for a long time. Sometimes you like some monks because of their social relationship, their intimacy and so forth. Sometimes you do not know monks. You may have certain distinction, differentiation uh, taking place in your mind. But one who attained to this level of enlightenment never look for that, right? So that's what it says. It says, divine being came to him and said that this monk attained to this level, that level, but he did not have any distinction. So I give here something out of the discourse. 7 categories of individual depending on their mental cultivation as mentioned in highlights. Depending on their practice and attainment, we can categorize bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, male and female lay followers into this. The liberated both ways, ubato bhagavimutta. It means that some monks, some bhikkhus, some people have mental abilities as well as abilities through wisdom. They practice all jhanas and also practice the wisdom and attain full enlightenment. They have both psychic powers, abilities, other abilities, plus ending of craving. They are called Ubatobhaga, all the liberated both ways. Now we have the wisdom liberated. They have wisdom only. They do not have that jhanic experiences, so powers, special powers, but they are enlightened people. Third one, the body witness. They more practice jhana, concentration, and liberate themselves through that vehicle. The fourth one, the view attainer, Dittipatta, is a saint whose dominant spiritual faculty is wisdom. Their main prominent quality is wisdom. They do not have other qualities, other things. Still, they are attainers. They are good. The faith followers, some people are more uh, towards to appreciate the Buddha qualities of the Dhamma. They are faith followers, but they somehow manage to take them to enlightenment through that as well. Their prominent characteristic feature is Shraddha, but they have other qualities as well in order to enlighten. The sixth one, the truth follower, Dhammanusari, is one working with the wisdom faculty to attain stream winning. They are trying to attain Sotapanna by investigating, analyzing things through wisdom. The last one, the faith follower, is one working with the faith faculty to attain stream winning. These are the 7 people depending on their level of mental cultivation. The seventh one, even when the devas visit him, he feels no pride at all. When the deities say thus to me, this is what I say to them. Whether you deities were to tell me so or not, still well taught is the blessed one. So, devas came to Ugga and tell that, oh, Buddha delivered such a wonderful discourse. Buddha delivered that discourse, this sermon, that sermon. Then he told the devas uh, that whether you tell it or not, I know the Dhamma of the Buddha is so excellent every way. I do not, Bhante, recall my haughtiness of heart on that account, that the deities approach me, that I converse with the deities. So I do not recall myself that I became pride out of divine beings reaching me and telling all these things. Last one. He is not worried about death because he is a non-return. As I told you that he is not coming to human world or divine world. He will reborn in Brahma realm where only anagamis go and they attain to arahantship, full enlightenment there. So they do not worry about leaving from this world. They do not have attachment. They do not have any expectation over their life or next life. So death is not a problem for non-returner. Anagamis are not reborn in the human world after death, but into heaven of the pure abodes where only anagamis live. There they attain full enlightenment, arahantship. So that's the end of the discourse. So you may have so many questions. Unfortunately, it's 8:05 now. We have to stop the class. Initially, in short, it's a story of someone who like us. Ugga, being a layperson, having enjoyed his life with all kind of normal things, was able to attain to anaga. I told you that probability of enlightenment in this very life could be something to think. Uh, we could try our best by practicing Sila, Samadhi and Panya to try out to attain enlightenment in this very life. It is a matter of effort, clear comprehension, mindfulness, concentration and so forth. Let's try with that. Buddha said in a different discourse that if one is able to see the impermanence in eyes, nose, tongue, uh, the body, ears and everything within, he would not die without attaining at least to Sotapanna. So trust on that and practice yourself. Okay, that's the end of the discourse, and I wish you enlightenment in this very life like Ugga. May you be well, happy and peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.